Welcome to another episode of the 15 Minute a Day Cure. Today's topic, 10 habits to decrease your anxiety. Hi, I'm Margot Staten of Be Good to Yourself by Margot.com and welcome to my channel. Here I teach you simple strategies to improve your quality of life. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's jump into today's lesson. So this will actually be episode 1 of 5, where I'm going to be talking about various ways to improve anxiety and rather things to do and then things to avoid. So in today's episode, we're going to be covering the first 5 tips to decrease your anxiety. So anxiety is the most common mental health condition in the world. So for all of you who think that you're alone, you're not. Anxiety disorders range from mild to severe. You can have, PTSD, panic disorders. You can have generalized anxiety disorder, which means that you're essentially anxious all the time. You can have situational anxiety. You can have phobias. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And there are certain levels of anxiety that are actually quite healthy. So for example, that anxious feeling where maybe you're walking down the street and it's kind of unsafe and you sort of feel a little tingle in the back of your neck and like your hair is standing a little bit on end, that anxiety is kind of telling you something is not right and you need to protect yourself, right? So you'll call an Uber or get in a cab to escape the situation. Also, there are certain levels of anxiety that are adrenaline-like, right? That are actually exciting. So, I remember I went skydiving one time. I mean, my level of anxiety was like through the roof while waiting, then getting into the plane. Actually, when I was in the plane, I really wanted to get off the plane because the whole thing was shaking. So when the doors opened, I was actually happy to jump out. The point is that we have various forms of anxiety. And it's really when anxiety starts to impact your day-to-day living. So it's impacting you at work, it's impacting you at home. It's really decreasing your quality of life because of these feelings of anxiousness. So, symptoms can include things like poor concentration. It could be things like an increased heartbeat, sweating, inability to make decisions. I mean, there are a lot of symptoms for anxiety. Poor sleeping habits, right, is a big one, right? Insomnia is huge when you suffer from anxiety because when you have anxiety, you're constantly thinking. And a lot of these things are negative thoughts. And they prevent you from being able to go to sleep, which is something you need in order to sort of rejuvenate your body and your mind in order to be able to tackle the next day. So there need to be tactics in place to decrease anxiety. Now, there are obviously anti-anxiety medications. If that's what you're looking for, speak to a healthcare professional. You can also seek out a therapist, social worker or psychologist. But there are a number of things that you can actually just do at home to decrease your anxiety levels. Number 1, the simplest way is to practice deep breathing. For example, you're at work and something very stressful happens. Maybe you missed a deadline, or maybe, your boss kind of came at you, or you had a fight with a colleague, or you're working on a project and it's just not working out and you feel stressed and anxious. Take a deep 60-second breath. Literally, you take deep breaths in and you take deep breaths out for 60 seconds. This is something that you can do anywhere. You can do it in the bathroom, you could do it in your cubicle, you could do it at your desk, you can do it outside, you can do it while driving. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not going to completely get rid of your anxiety disorder, but in the interim, those really peak high anxiety sort of states, deep breathing for 60 seconds helps to sort of restore your body and reset your mind a little bit. And again, it could be done anywhere. A couple of weeks ago, I was driving and I've been very, very stressed lately and I have a lot going on. And I started feeling like I was about to get an anxiety attack. Now, I'm literally driving, right? So I'm on a highway. There's absolutely nowhere to pull over. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And for everyone who experiences anxiety, you know that the more you feed into the anxiety, the worse it actually gets. And then we can sort of build our way into a panic attack. And for anyone who's experienced a panic attack, I have, it literally feels like you're going to die. You feel like you're having a heart attack. With anxiety, the rule of thumb is that you shouldn't allow it to control you, because if you do, it actually gets worse. So now I'm in the middle of the road, nowhere to pull over. I'm going about 50 miles an hour, and I start to kind of get an anxiety attack. I start to kind of lose feeling in my right arm, and it's kind of spreading its way into my leg. So of course, naturally, you want to freak out because you don't want to crash, you don't want to die. And, you kind of feel like you're suffocating. You feel like you have an elephant sitting on your chest. It's not a very good feeling. The only thing I can do in that moment is take deep breaths and not allow the anxiety to consume me. Now, it is very challenging. I'm not trying to make it sound easy. It is very, very hard. But by taking deep breaths, I was able to sort of decrease the anxiety, not have it escalate, and then obviously pull over when I was, when I could. The point is, it does work. You don't have to wait till extreme situations to practice deep breathing. Deep breathing also kind of helps with stress relief as well. But do practice taking deep breaths, because again, it really does very, very quickly help to decrease your anxiety levels. Number 2, speak to someone. It's still extremely shocking to me just how many people don't talk about their anxiety, how many people are uncomfortable, ashamed, pretend like it doesn't exist. You need to talk about your anxiety. You need to talk about the things that are making you anxious. You need to get it out, and talking to someone, it could be a friend or a family member. It could be a professional. But the point is, you should not hide your anxiety, pretend like it doesn't exist, and hope that it's going to go away. It's not. You need to take an active role into treating your mental health in order to get better. And again, anxiety, you can improve. You can eliminate it, right? Again, we can't control certain things that give us anxiety. What we can control always is our reaction to it. And speaking to someone truly does help. Number 3, exercise. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a pattern. Exercise helps with a lot of things. Exercise keeps us healthy, both physically and mentally. Exercise is a great self-care practice. Exercise reduces stress, anxiety, and improves depression. Exercise is fantastic. Exercise can be whatever you want it to be. I'm a true believer of making exercise fun. I don't pick up exercise practices that I find tedious and boring and that don't fit me, because I'm not going to stick with it. So especially if you have anxiety, 10 to 15 minutes a day of exercise. So when you exercise, your body releases happy hormones, right? So they naturally uplift you. I'm not going to go into sort of the neuropsychology of it all, but if you exercise, you naturally feel better. So find an exercise routine that you enjoy. Do Zumba, go dancing, do Tai Chi, do kickboxing, lift weights, do stomach crunches, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Find exercise that you enjoy doing. Go jog, go walk, run up and down the stairs. It really doesn't matter. But if you have anxiety, exercising will naturally improve it. Number 4, probably the most challenging things to do is positive thinking. A lot of anxiety is made worse by constant and repetitive negative thoughts. You need to learn to break the cycle. Oftentimes, clients have a difficult time breaking the cycle on their own because it requires a lot of thought redirection, which is a conscious effort. So basically, a negative thought comes in. I'm such a failure. I can't believe I said that. I don't look great. I need to lose weight. I need to start eating better. Oh my God, but I can't do it. You need to stop them when they start, and you need to replace them with a positive thought. If you can do that, and again, this takes practice, and I don't mean like a day, I don't mean like a week. It takes months and months and months and months and months of practice. If you can do it, if you can redirect your thoughts, great. If you can't, my recommendation is journal and affirmations. Read positive messages, read positive books, surround yourself with positive people. Train your brain to go from negative to positive, because positive thinking essentially is what in turn will decrease anxiety. When you have anxiety, you are focused on all the horrible things that happen and might potentially happen, and all the horrible ways that you feel. You need to change the way you think and replace it with all of the good things in your life. Practice gratitude. Think about things that happened throughout the day that were great. One of the strategies I practice, especially on very anxious days, is Before I go to bed, I always find one thing throughout that day that I am grateful for that happened. It could be something very small as like there was no traffic on the commute home. So again, positive thinking, retraining your mindset to focus more on good things as opposed to the bad. And number 5, finally, is sleep. You need to get sleep. And one of the biggest issues with anxiety is because of the constant running thoughts and because of the negative thinking, it's very difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep. But I think that if you sort of begin to practice number 4, which is positive thinking, the hope is that it'll alleviate some of the anxiety and get you to go to bed better and sort of on a positive note. But sleep is very, very crucial. Sleep is crucial regardless. But if you have anxiety, sleep is very, very important. Okay, so that is episode 1. So today I covered the first 5 ways to decrease your anxiety. Stay tuned. There'll be an episode 2 where I cover 6 through 10. If you enjoyed my video, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know what works to decrease your anxiety. And always remember to be good to yourselves.